You're welcome back. If you've just joined us, you're watching Business Morning. We're coming to you live from Channels Television here in Lagos. I'm now being joined by the Director in charge of the Monetary Policy Department at the Central Bank of Nigeria, Moses Tule. Good morning.
Good morning. It's a pleasure.
Thank you for coming on the program.
Thank you.
I know issues from the last monetary policy meeting is still reverberating. A lot of issues are still being addressed, and one of such is the foreign exchange of the Naira itself. I just wanted to talk to Nigerians and let us know what is the state of that market vis-a-vis the exchange rate of the Naira.
Yeah, thank you very much. Good morning, Nigerians. It's a great pleasure having this opportunity to explain to our countrymen what's happening in the foreign exchange market. It's quite true. The Monetary Policy Committee of the Central Bank of Nigeria had its last meeting on 19th and 20th of January, and the communique was issued. As Nigerians may have read it, and all other critical stakeholders may have gone through the communique, the MPC retained its position as it was at the November 2014 meeting. Now, going to the foreign exchange market, we didn't just retain the position of the MPC just because we wanted things to be the way they are. In the management of the macroeconomy and the foreign exchange market in particular, you look at where an economy is. You also look at the other forces that are interacting with that economy. First of all, Nigeria is an open economy. By an open economy, it means there are influences from other countries that impact your decision making. So it is not solely that you sit in the studios here, for instance, and take a decision. You may decide to change your hairdo. That doesn't have so much impact. But if you are married and your husband doesn't like that hairdo, you have to take him into account. And look, if I do this hairdo, my husband wouldn't like it. So for an economy, when you take decisions, there are other external influences that impact you. Nigeria's foreign exchange market has been impacted in recent times by developments in the oil market. We still have a very robust reserves level. But the fact that you have money doesn't mean you don't see rich people going out on the street and they just go and empty their bank accounts and start throwing all over the place. It means they might have stolen the money. So you have to manage, because basically in economics, resources are limited. But the means of satisfying those, the demands on those resources are unlimited. There are so many demands on the little resources that you have. So you have to manage the foreign exchange in such a way that it would meet today's needs, tomorrow's needs, and the long-term needs of Nigerians that are not yet born. So it is your level of resources, of your reserves, that people who are doing business with you will look at and say, look, these people are serious about what they are doing. If we invest in that economy, they have the capacity to retain the value of that currency. So your foreign exchange reserve provides the backbone on which the value of the currency is determined. Currently, oil is trading at about $40, $45, $46 per barrel. Now that's, if you look at where we're coming from, about $145 per barrel sometime last year before the problem began, about June 2014, we've lost so much in the price of oil. And because of that, you know, we don't have insight as to when oil will start heading northwards, the price will start heading northwards. So you need to manage what you have. For instance, yesterday, the foreign exchange market at the interbank closed at about 183 to $1. That's at the interbank. Now, that's not correct when the press reports that it is 195. It's not 195. The market didn't close that. You need to understand the mechanics of that market. The closing price is not the highest, the ruling price is not the highest price that somebody quoted to buy foreign exchange, but it is the price at which the market eventually closed. And as at yesterday, it was about 183 and not 195.
Are you talking about a fish? Okay, you talked about the interbank market itself.
That was the interbank
But
market.
many Nigerians will deal with the parallel markets, which is another segment of that market.
No. You need to understand, when you say many Nigerians, what is your gauge of saying many Nigerians?
For those who want quick access to dollars.
Then that people who want quick access are people that do not want to follow the rules. The BDC, and let me correct you, don't say it is a parallel market. There is a BDC segment of the market. What the law, Nigerian law, recognizes that there are three segments of the foreign exchange market. There is the interbank market, which is between the banks themselves, the trade that takes place between the banks themselves. Now, for that, if China's television, for instance, want to import their equipments, they will approach their bank, and the bank will, even if they don't have foreign, they can get it from another bank. And that transaction can be carried out between the banks. Okay? There's another window, which is the BDC window, the Bureau de Change. This is for marginal users of foreign exchange. You don't expect that if you need $2 million, $200 million, you are going to a BDC to ask you. The BDC is not supposed to have that volume of foreign exchange to give to people. And the many Nigerians you are referring to, you don't see many Nigerians going to BDC to ask for 200 million. So it is not many Nigerians. BDC serves the interests of marginal users, people who are looking at $2,000, small amounts. And the central bank has even opened another window, the Western Union, where they're having the transfers for people who want to pay school fees. They can go to Western Union in Naira, and they're able to, pay the Naira, and then they do it. They do it for them. Then you have the official window of the foreign exchange market, where the Central Bank of Nigeria is just about 30% of the market. What we provide is just about 30% of the market in normal times. I hope that's a bit clear. So it's not many Nigerians. Many Nigerians that carry out production, that are engaged in productive activities, go through the banking system. That's the official market.
I know that. We relate with people a lot. Not many of these people who have access to the banks. The banks, like you said, except you want to buy a huge volume of the dollars. But for those people who want $1,000, they have $2,000. They will not
go to the BDC.
They won't go They won't go to the banks. They have their BDCs who have representatives like the Malams. They go there to buy, and so these numbers, like you said that yesterday.
You see the BDCs to refer to as parallel market.
We have the street market rates. There is the street market rates, like you said, the official and the interbank. Many people don't go to the interbank market. The banks deal among themselves in that respect. That's but right. If I want to buy, go to the BDC or the street market. That is what usually obtains in Nigeria. But let's just move on. Let's leave that aspect and move on. The central bank governor was speaking yesterday, and he talked about speculation in the foreign exchange market. What's your thought about this development in terms of the fact that there's been speculative activities in the foreign exchange markets?
Now, the Central Bank of Nigeria has consistently said that it stands ready to support genuine demand for foreign exchange. And the Central Bank has lived up to its words, and it has gained credibility as far as this matter is concerned. And over time, the Central Bank has tried to ensure that when it gives out its words, it follows it with action. Now, and that is why when we told Nigerians that we're going to defend the value of the Naira, we didn't say it was going to be at all cost. At all cost means running down the reserves to zero just because we said we're going to defend the value of the Naira. No central bank does that. Okay. When the governor spoke yesterday about speculative activities, it means there are people who are demanding for foreign exchange today, not because they want to import what cannot be produced in this country, not because they want to import anything, raw materials, to aid the running of their factories, but they are hedging. They are saying, okay, look, we expect that the Naira is going to be 250, 300 Naira to $1. So if we apply sufficient pressure today and cause the central bank to run down the reserves. We can get foreign exchange and keep. When the naira gets to 300, we just dump it on the market. After all, we bought it at 168, and then we can make a gain without any productive activity. That is speculation on the currency. You pile up that demand pressure so that whatever it is you can get, or you are piling pressure because you have accumulated sufficient foreign exchange, you are piling pressure for the currency to depreciate so that you will then bring out what you have saved.
How does the central bank intend to track the speculators? Because from the RDAS platform that you use to, the auction system, you are to present documentation. For anyone buying the greenback or any other currencies, especially on the high volume side, you need to present the documentation, what you want to use it for, like you said. How have you been tracking this?
The disbursement of foreign exchange, the RDAS is a framework, and it's rated Dutch auction system, and it's based on you need foreign exchange. You approach your bank with documentation. The bank scrutinizes the documentation you've provided and the bank okays those documentations in line with the guidelines provided by the central bank, and then submits on your behalf those documentation to the central bank for the purpose of purchasing foreign exchange to the tone, that's to the amount that you want. And that is that documentation that the central bank uses to cross-check. Now, after that, that's just an initial step. There are other steps down the customs are involved, and several other agencies of government are involved. You say you are going to bring in raw materials for the production of maybe mattresses or some other thing. Okay, now that's the responsibility of the customs to verify that the documents you procured foreign exchange for, that there is evidence that you brought in those goods. Now, in every economy, everybody has a responsibility to behave responsibly. All economic agents have that responsibility. They are supposed to behave responsibly. That is, if you are going out to ruin the economy of your country, there are laws there that are saying you can't do this. But there's always an aspect of petroleum which ensures that you must behave to ensure the integrity and the continued existence of your country. Here again, we have our rules which we follow, and based on the documentation that is presented and which we verify, we give out foreign exchange. But then people have ways of cutting corners. In every system, there are ways of cutting corners. And the central bank is continually reviewing the process. We are continually evaluating the entire system to ensure that we close areas that we have loopholes and strengthen the regime of foreign exchange administration in the country.
Now, it seems that the banks were also accused of involvement in speculative activities as well. What's your view on this, and how can this be addressed?
Yeah, banks are financial intermediaries in any economy, and basically a bank is established in an economy to carry out that function of financial intermediation. Foreign exchange transaction is a financial activity, and so banks are involved. So if there is a problem in the process, and the key person that is supposed to provide stability in the process is the banking system, then perhaps maybe one way or the other, they are involved in the process. And as the Central Bank of Nigeria governor did say yesterday at the meeting you referred to, if the central bank discovers that any bank is involved in either in some infractions of the foreign exchange regulations, that the central bank will not hesitate to apply the rules and the sanctions that are provided.
So there will be punitive measures
definitely
on those banks that will be found to be involved in such?
Definitely, and the banks know that the central bank stands ready to do it. The central bank had done it in the past, and the central bank still stands ready to do it. Otherwise, the governor wouldn't have said it. And then, of course, customers who also are cooking up, either they're cooking up documents. To cook up a document is fraudulent practice. To present fake documentation for the purpose of procuring foreign is criminal activity. Again, the governor did indicate in the presentation yesterday that even individuals or companies that are found to be culprits will be dealt with in accordance with the law.
While we agree that there are speculators in the market, how does the central bank intend to meet demand for the greenback? Because we understand that some multinationals also have to come into the market to sell off the dollars to buy naira for the local operations. Do you think that, what measures does it intend to apply to meet with the demand in the market?
The central bank has given commitment that it would meet genuine demand for foreign exchange, not all demand for foreign exchange. If it is all demand for foreign exchange, I tell you, if we put our reserves on the table today, by tomorrow Nigeria's reserve will run to zero. That is all demand for foreign exchange. But the central bank has never given commitment that it's going to meet all demand for foreign exchange. But genuine demand for foreign exchange, yes, we will meet. Because if people are importing because they want to run their factories, or they are demanding for foreign exchange because they want to bring in raw materials in order to run their factories, I mean, such people should have access to foreign exchange. And that's what the central bank has given commitment to do, and we are doing it.
All right, Moses Tule, the Director in charge of the Monetary Policy Department of the Central Bank. Thank you for your time. That was all we'll take from you.
Thank you very much. Great pleasure.
We'll go on a break now. And when we come back, we will now be joined by the CEO, Sub-Saharan Africa at Citibank. It is Mr. Ade Adeyemi. Please join us again.